For my recipe, I chose a vegan guacamole dip. I chose this dip because I've always loved guacamole and I wanted to try a different dip rather than the one that my mom buys at the store. So I found a vegan recipe online that sounded delicious and I bought the ingredients to make it. This is my recipe. For my shopping list, I went to Kroger to buy my ingredients, and from the produce section, I bought 2 avocados, a lime, a red onion, and cilantro. At my house, I had the salt and pepper, and I had tortilla chips to eat with the guacamole, and I didn't have anything from the packaged produce section. I picked these 2 avocados because they were the biggest out of all of the other avocados there. And all the other ones that I picked were very small and did not look like they would be very good. And usually avocados are darker when they're ripe, which these both are pretty dark. And I made sure that it didn't have any miscolored like spots. And I made sure that it didn't look like it had been smushed under all the other ones. And for the texture, I made sure that they weren't like super mushy whenever I pressed on them, but I also didn't make sure that they were super hard when I pushed on them. And for the aroma, I just made sure that they didn't have bad odor when I picked them up because they tend to have a bad scent if they've been sitting out for a couple of days. I picked these 2 tomatoes because they are pretty big and they're heavy for its size, which means that they are juicy and ripe. I also picked them because they're both super red, which means that they are a mature fruit. And for the aroma, I think they had pleasant characteristics and that they smelled fresh. And when I was picking these 2 out, I picked up many that had cuts and bruises, and these do not. And they had pretty good features when I picked them up, so I decided that these were probably the best to pick. And for the texture, they aren't like super squishy, but they definitely are like a little squishy, which means that they're juicy, so that's good. I picked this lemon and this onion because they were both normal size and they weren't too big or too small compared to like all the other ones. And I picked them because the coloring on this one is super like bright, and I think that would be good to work with. And then I think this one, it was also super bright. And for the aroma, I just made sure that it like had good features and that it didn't smell weird, because if it smelled weird, then obviously it wasn't good to cook with. And for the condition, I just made sure that they both neither had very many like bruises or like scratches on them. And then for the texture, I just made sure that the onion was like smooth on the outside without any like bumps and bruises, and I just made sure that it was smooth. And then for the lemon, I just made sure that it was like firm, but like I was able to like squish it a little bit to where it would be like juicier on the inside. When I picked the cilantro, this was all they had, which I didn't consider this packaged because it's technically like fresh produce. It's just in this, and they weren't selling the cilantro on its own, so I just found this and I picked this up. When starting this recipe, make sure you wash your hands and wash the outsides of the tomatoes. To tell if an avocado is ripe or not, you can take the stem off and see if it's green underneath. That means it's ripe. But if you can't peel the stem off, then that means that it's not ripe yet. If you peel it off and it's brown underneath, then that means that there are spots in the avocado. Now you're going to slice it down the middle and around the sides to where you can get it open. Now you mush. Next, cut the lemon and spray lemon juice on the mushed avocado to keep it from getting bad. By putting lemon juice and the stone back into the bowl of the avocado, you can prevent it from changing colors. Now cut the tomato. half of the tomato and slice it up into small pieces, and then you're going to add it into the avocado. Next, slice the onion and take 1/2 and slice it into smaller pieces. Next, you're going to get the cilantro and take the leaves off of the stem. Now add salt and pepper to taste. Hey Mom, can you try my vegan guacamole?
I would love to.
Eat it. I selected the ingredients by finding ripe fruits and vegetables to add into this appetizer. I selected the avocados by seeing if it was ripe or not. I checked underneath the stem to see if it would come off. If it didn't come off, then that meant it was not ready, or it was not ripe. But if it came off, then that meant it was ripe. If it was brown underneath, then I knew that it had bruises. And if it was green underneath, then I knew that it was ready to be eaten. I picked the lemon by seeing if it was firm to the touch, but to see also if it had a little give. By having a little give, I knew that it was ripe. I selected the onion by picking the dark, bright purple ones. I selected the tomatoes to see if they were very ripe to the touch, and they were bright red, which meant that they were ripe. And I first peeled the avocado. To do my entire guacamole mix, I first peeled the avocado and then mashed it up with a fork, and then I cut all my ingredients into small pieces, and then I put them all in here, and then I mixed them. I then added some salt and pepper for taste, and the essential nutrients found in my dish are vegetables, fruits, unsaturated fats, so just fats, carbohydrates, minerals, and vitamins. There was very little water, but I would say that there was water involved because in many fruits and vegetables there's water added into it. Thank you.
Thank you.